A lot of folks have been asking about the new Tone Master 59 Bassman amp. There's not a lot of information out there right now, so I thought I'd bring one home, put it through its paces, and give everyone a little taste of what it looks like and what it sounds like. So as you can see, this looks just like a traditional 59 Bassman. The only cues that might make you think it's different is the Tone Master plaque at the bottom. And rather than having a fuse, it actually has convolution reverb on the top, which is a nice addition for players. But it's got the 4 inputs, which you can jumper and blend. It works just like the tube version, but check that out, 32 pounds. And that does include Alnico Jensen speakers and a pine cabinet, which keeps it light and easy to gig with. So let's take a look at the back. So here's the back of the Tone Master Bassman. As you can see, it looks very much like the tube original, but we've used the top half to put all the cool Tone Master features in it. But it still has those great Jensen Alnico speakers back there and solid pine cabinet. But let's get into the features here. So over on this side, you've got the power attenuator, so you can go all the way from half a watt up to 45 watts full power. You have this vintage tight switch, which is super cool if you've ever played a Bassman. They were designed for basses, so the low end's a little loose, and for playing more rock and more aggressive playing, it can get a little flubby. So generally what people would do is turn down the bass, which is a great solution. But if you want a bit of a tighter attack, a little more aggressive, you put in the tight switch, it tightens up the power amp and feels different and much better for sort of rock playing. Next to it, you have the cabinet IRs. What we've done this time is you've got 3 different IRs as opposed to a 0 IR. So you have a 57 in the first position, you have a 421 in the second, and then this is cool, in the third one you have a blend between an SM57 and a 121 condenser, which is a really nice sound. Next to it you have the level here, so you can use that for when you're running out from the XLR to balance your level with a ground lift. And then you have your XLR control right there. So really nice if you need to run silent stages. And then on this side, another interesting thing, you do have a USB for any sort of updates that we need to do in the future. And then a foot switch jack, so you can turn on and off the reverb and the effects loop. And then it has an effects loop. So the cool thing about this effects loop is we've actually put it after the power amp in the digital modeling. So if you're cranking the amp and you're using time-based delays, it's not going to mess with your delay sound. It's going to sound really good as opposed to kind of clashing if you put it in the front end of this amp. So something we think a lot of players are going to really dig. Okay, so I have the amp plugged in now. I do have a jumper cable between the normal and bright channels, but the normal volume's turned all the way down. And I have the reverb turned all the way down right now. So what you're hearing is pretty much the bright channel set to taste with a Strat. So here's a few chords. Okay, so now I've blended in the normal channel to thicken up the tone a little bit because I'm still playing the Strat. And I've added the convolution reverb, and it's at about halfway. So this is how it sounds. So I've increased the reverb quite a bit, so it's pretty swimmy, but it's got a good vibe to it. and here's how that sounds. So I've cranked the amp up quite a bit more at about 8 or 9 on the bright channel. I've blended more in of the normal channel to thicken it up. I have a guitar with humbuckers now, so I brought the bass control down a bit because, like I said, original ones get a little flubby, and I have just a little bit of reverb in there. I like reverb, but I wanted to show how it sounds in the vintage mode, and then I'll play the same guitar with the type mode. Okay, so here is the amp with the tight switch pressed in. All the controls have stayed the same. I'm hoping this translates via iPhone, but the feel is very, very different. It's much more tighter, and I feel like you can be a little bit more rock and less blues. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. I'm gonna keep the delay in the effects loop and get more of an atmospheric sound, and I'm scaling back up the power to full and bringing down the volumes so that I get this beautiful sort of ambient crystalline tone with my Strat. I've also boosted the reverb just a bit, so listen to some of these chords. So I'm keeping the settings the same as the ambient one, just changing the delay a little bit and adding an overdrive with the Strat, and this is how it sounds.